Hey, I was on X earlier on, and there's a guy on there now, and he reportedly has the highest IQ in the world, right? The highest IQ ever recorded. It's like something ridiculous, like 200 or something, or could be even more, I don't know. But he's got like the highest IQ. But he's on, I forget his name, he's a Chinese guy, I think. An Asian guy anyways. And he's on X talking about, how Jesus is real, and that, it's just basically Christianity is real. And there are other people in the last, I don't know how it came about, but in the last few decades, Christianity has got this image of itself, and Jesus has got this image of itself as, this like wishy-washy hippie from the 1960s, like Ned Flanders type of guy, which is completely inaccurate. It's completely, there's another doggy there, I don't know if you can see anyways, whatever. It's completely inaccurate, because that's not the way he is. I came to believe in Jesus and in Christianity about 15 years ago. And what happened was, I was coming out of I don't want to say a dark place, but I wasn't in the best, I wasn't at my best at that time. And, I'd given up alcohol a few years previously, and, I wasn't in any active addiction, but I was coming from a place of, discontent, put it like that. And one night I got on my knees, and I'm not going to bore you with my testimony or tell you why you should believe in Jesus and Christianity. That's not the purpose of this video. But I'm going to tell you that I came to a place where I believed, because I got down on my knees one night and I prayed, and I said, Jesus, if you're real, make yourself known to me. Come into my life in some way. Man, dude, hey, I'm telling you, something touched me. Something touched me that night. Something came in to that room. It was like a breeze or a wind or whatever you want to call it, right? But something, I felt something that night. And since that night, I've always known that Christ, that Jesus is real. That he is real. And that he was who he said he was. The Son of God. Now, are we all sons of God? Are we all little gods? I don't know, that's a different debate. But if you want to think that way, or if you want to debate that, that's up to you, right? Again, that's not what I'm trying to do with this video. But again, something touched me that night, and since that time, I believe in Christ. I believe in Jesus. I believe that he is the Son of God, and that he came and died and rose again in the flesh, right? Now, I interviewed a guy, I guess it was 2 years ago now. I'm going to put the link in the description. I interviewed a guy, a fairly well-known guy called Barry Schwartz, and you can check that video out. It's on a different YouTube channel. And he was one of the few people to see and examine the Shroud of Turin, right? He was on the store. It was a science. It was a research team back in 1978. It was STURP, right? I think that's it, anyways. And they examined the Shroud of Turin, and they came to the conclusion that it was real, that it was authentic. Now, Barry Schwartz is a Jewish guy, and he was coming from the perspective that he was going to prove it wrong, that he was going to prove that it wasn't real. However, he's come to realize or believe that it is in fact real, that it is authentic, that it did belong to that it did cover or wrap the body of Jesus. Now, I'm not going to get into his whole argument why that's so. If you want, check out the video. The image on the shroud, is it of a resurrected man or a dead man? Because if you're looking at, like, what are we looking at really when is it like, with the blood samples or the blood stains? What are we looking at really?
Well, we're looking at a man who was certainly scourged, beaten, speared, crucified, crowned with a cap of thorns, if you will, which matched the gospel accounts of what was done to Jesus. So one can infer from that and the accumulation of all the data. Look, I don't have a problem accepting that this is the cloth that wrapped the historical Jesus of Nazareth. People say, well, then you've got to become a Christian. I go, wait a minute. Those are two separate issues. A Jewish burial shroud of a Jewish man who I believe existed, as most people do. And we have a documented piece of cloth that wrapped his body after his death. I don't have a problem accepting that without necessarily having to accept that he was or was not the Messiah. Now, I get evangelized all the time, and I would say, well, look, I'm not excluding the possibility that he was the Messiah. I did an hour interview with him, and he puts out all the points there. And the Shroud of Turin is important because if you really examine it, if you really research that relic or that artifact, I guess, you cannot but come to the conclusion that Jesus, and that it did wrap Jesus in the tomb. There's something crazy, profound, supernatural, or at least in a way that we don't understand yet through the laws of science and physics. Something happened, right? And there is no other artifact like that on the planet. Nothing else. So if you want research that, and it might surprise you, people said it was a forgery or a painting or it was a photograph. Bullshit. It isn't. It's actually real. Check it out. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say in response to that guy who's on X, the smartest guy in the world, fellow with the highest IQ. He's not the only smart guy that came to the conclusion that Christianity is real, that Jesus is real. A lot of people in the past, Galileo, Newton, and umpteen amount of scientists have come to the same conclusion. Even in this last few years, with the new discoveries in science, a lot of scientists, former atheists, have come to that conclusion. So anyways, that's my take on it, as crude and as informal as it probably has sounded up to now. Anyways, thank you.